Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Fisher with In the Doll World, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Miss Georgette Taylor.
Hey, everybody.
We're so happy to be back.
Yes, we are.
And today's guest is Aidan Prince, who is the creator of TheKenCouple Instagram series. And if you have not seen the series, you have to see it. It is hilarious. And we are so excited to have Aidan join us today. Hello,
Hey.
Aidan.
Hi, Aidan.
And thank you so much for having me. It was just such a very lovely surprise to receive your invitation. I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, we
Tammy's been
appreciate
talking about it for a minute now.
Yeah, your series is just hilarious. It's just, so one of the things, and I talked about this in the introduction I did for Pride. One of the things that I really like about the TheKenCouple is it's a couple doing what couples do. And yeah, I think a lot of times we have these preconceived notions and that's, with prejudice, we're prejudging, where we think that other people don't do what we do. And I don't know what it is that other people do that we don't do, but that's what they do, and really we are all other, and we're all human, and we all do a lot of the same things. And when I saw that, your series is just like, it just cracked me up because I just see this couple and it was just hilarious. I love it. So tell us more about your series. I guess we should start with your doll journey and then go into your series. Okay. So the first question we ask everyone here is, please tell us about your doll journey, how it began.
I think it's actually a cute story because it started actually back in 2014, and it was at work that we had, we did a fun thing, coming together at the holiday season. We did a special, rather than a typical gift exchange, we did a fun activity where you were received a name of one of your colleagues, and you were to buy a toy that made you think of that person. And what we did was, we had it that, our boss actually dressed up like Mrs. Claus, and she pulled the toy out of the bag, and then we all had to try and guess who that toy was for. So it was really fun, activity around, matching our personalities. And of course, we did this with the intention that all of the toys that were purchased would then be donated to charity, which of course was a fun activity, and it was great. So, I had a coworker who, for me, bought this Ken doll, which was so spiffy with a bow tie. At work, I usually wear bow ties, not working remotely in the pandemic. And so I just fell in love with this Ken doll because it just so reminded me of me. And my coworker was so sweet that actually the next week she came to my office with an actual Ken doll for me. But she also bought one, she brought a second one that looked more like my husband's features. And so that's really what, what began. And so, we were home for the Christmas break and, time on my hands and drinking. And so got a little silly. So I just did silly things of taking pictures of the dolls doing stupid things and posted them on my Facebook. And my friends were just laughing and losing their minds. And so, I just did these silly one-frame photos on Facebook, probably for, I don't know, almost a year maybe.
Wow.
And actually, and friends were encouraging me, saying, hey, you've got to, get this on Ellen. So that's what kept spurring me on. So we would do the post, and we would try and tag all the time, tag Ellen, but she didn't pick up on it. And anyway, so it just, kind of died out. And then what's interesting is that so we're here in May of last year, and so friends of mine bought 2 new dolls that looked actually closer, more like my husband and I. And I'm just like, really? Why did you do this? And well, actually, I'm bored in the pandemic. I'll start taking pictures again. So that's what started it.
Thank you, Aidan's friend.
That is so funny. Wow.
Yeah.
So how long you said it went on? It was on Facebook?
Yeah, so back in 2014, I just did it on Facebook for about a year, and then so when I again in May of last year, as the kind of pandemic boredom buster. So that's when I started. And really, I kind of at that point kind of thought, well, maybe kind of do a bit of I kind of made a commitment to kind of do a post every day and kind of focus it more on the chronicles of our life through living through the pandemic. And if you go back to the first post, it actually is, the dolls looking at the news and seeing that the World Health Organization declared the pandemic. So then really just, it was, again, a fun thing to chronicle, the daily lives. But, what's interesting is that, the way I started it, there were just those single frame photos of just, them doing a silly thing. And sometimes maybe it's a silly dialogue. But it was interesting how I just started doing a few with my ideas that, well, actually, this takes 3 or 4 frames for me to kind of, get the little punchline in. And the feedback on those from people was, quite something. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing this a bit differently. And that's where they evolved into these really quite mostly 10, I think with a maximum 10 pictures in Instagram comic strips. And even just to the point that when I did it in 2014, I just did it on my Facebook for my friends. And I had, then when I started it in last year, had friends say, you really should put this on Instagram and see how many followers you can get. And my intention initially in terms of the audience is really just the gay community. I had no idea there was a doll community. So imagine my surprise when I'm just getting these followers after followers and these people just, losing their minds because, oh, this is so fun. And, and I love attention. So it was great. So,
You did such a great
one
job.
stone there.
You couldn't help but get attention. I mean, it's just funny. It's just hilarious. And this is one of those things that we talk about even within the doll world. The pandemic has been really hard and there's been a lot of loss and sadness. But there's been this real big spark of creativity because we're sitting at home. And from that creativity, we've seen some really cool things occur. I mean, like I said, and that's what happened with us. We had been sitting around within the doll world. Yeah, we're going to do something. And it's like, hey, Georgia, hey, wait a minute. People are at home. They need something to listen to. And in the doll world. So we started doing our show. And, then you did the same thing that you did with your show. But that we keep hearing that, how it's been amazing how these great things have come from this time of suffering. It's good that when it's over with, we will be able to look back on it and see these great positive creativity things that came from it.
No, it really is. And it's so, it was immediately motivating, because I was just doing it out of boredom and, I'm a creative person. So it was a nice creative outlet as well. But just immediately, I get unexpected the impact, the comments that people were leaving about how it was just that the daily smile and people saying, it was, they would just so look forward to, at breakfast, because they would post them in the morning at breakfast, they would have it. It was the daily smile. And, people say, and I share them with my kids. Well, most of them, there's a few that are a little, maybe not PG. So, and, but yeah, it was just that in itself, it kept encouraging me and motivating me, and also to have them evolve where they were, really just sometimes just those one frame cute things, then to turn them into more of a comic strip, looking for that, kind of punchline at the end. So yeah, absolutely. It was the feedback from the followers who did that. And, it's actually been kind of overwhelming, really. The followers and just the kind words that people share. It's been quite something, especially when I had no expectation.
Why don't you, for our listeners and our viewers, why don't you describe one of the comics?
Yeah, well, and I think, certainly what I try to do with the storylines is try to have them, really just talk about everyday life and the everyday life of an everyday couple. I mean, they just happen to be same sex. But, and I think even when I think about some of the commentary that I get from folks is they see themselves in there. So it's just, regular trials and tribulations of everyday life. I know, and as simple as, even I did a lot of them kind of, things couples argue about,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah,
and,
what's just like the trash can?
right, okay, trash Jenga. I mean, who doesn't play trash Jenga in their house, right? It's like, come on, you empty that bag. No, I'll put one more piece of garbage on it, it's like, so, and I mean, the two dolls are loosely based on our own personality. So, I am certainly more out there, more extroverted. I am the attention seeker. My husband is more very, calm, collected.
Mhm.
I can be the ditzy one, and but also I am a real neat freak. So, for example, we had the one where my doll was upset because he put the toilet paper the wrong way. No, it's toilet paper goes this way, it doesn't go that way. So these are just universal
Thank
things.
you. I was gonna say that's totally universal. Okay.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
still almost have those myself. So there you go.
Yeah. So,
Well, I have them in my house too with my
yeah,
kids.
and there's things about, about chores and responsibilities,
Mhm.
and sometimes they really are taking specifically from reality. It's like, one of the things my husband's a gardener, so, that the doll's a gardener, and he constantly tracks dirt into the house, and I'm generally the cleaner. So, I made a storyline where it's like, no, he's tracking dirt again, and I leave the vacuum up by the door and he trips over it, so,
That's funny.
and also, so, I am a martini fiend, so I did pass that characteristic along to my Ken doll.
I love your collection of martini glasses.
Oh, many people have commented on them. Yeah. Yes, I have a wonderful collection of martini glasses, actually, and quite most of them as gifts from my husband.
Oh,
So,
that's sweet.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, so we've been together. We're my husband and I. We will be celebrating our 20th anniversary
Wow, that's
this August.
great.
So, I mean, especially for gay guys. I mean, we so we count years together in dog years. The gay guys.
But
I
these
don't
are
know if you
real,
do that.
but these are real 20 years, right? Not
So these are real 20 years. Yeah. So again, back to just, normal relationships. When a
Mhm.
couple's been together for 20 years, you bicker about stuff and you have fun with stuff. So very much, that's what they reflect.
that's so
Mhm.
cool.
And that's what attracted me to them. It was just, again, we have so much in common. People have so much in common,
Mhm.
and it's important that we have spaces that are safe where we can have discussions about
Mhm.
each other and how we're different and how we're the same, because in those spaces we learn that we have more similarities than we do differences.
Yeah.
And,
No,
and like you told us you have kids and a grandkid,
yeah.
so it's the whole parenting thing. You've raised children, so yeah, it's just
Mhm.
cool to just see these
Yeah.
everyday things that just make you laugh. One of my favorite ones that you did was the hot tub.
Yeah, I love the hot tub.
The hot tub,
So
I
cute.
mean, yeah, the new
And
hot tub.
for those who don't know, so the hot tub actually was a I'm not using the word now.
The crock pot.
A crock pot.
Crock pot. Which
Because
is
that's also like, so in terms of conceptually for the story, the way that I approach it, and many
Mhm.
people have really, again, provided that positive feedback. The idea is that these two dolls, they live in a big world, and they have no concept that everything is not their size, right? So they just use large things, or they modify and use things like their crock pot for their hot tub. So
That
yeah.
is
Yeah,
awesome. I love that. I love that
yeah.
juxtaposition, right? Of like being really small but living in a big world, right? Like not having any concept of, oh, this probably doesn't fit me, or this probably doesn't
Yes.
go with me. But they're just like, hey, this is our normal thing, and this is
Yeah.
what we do. And who cares if the
Yeah.
newspaper is like 3 times
Yeah.
bigger than us? We're gonna read it.
Yeah, it's like,
You
yeah,
know
when
what I mean? I think it's
they,
so cute.
they check their Instagram on the phone that is half the size of their body.
So that is so cute.
But that's part of the fun and the
Yes, that is
of it.
so cute.
Yeah.
I love it.
But Tammy, what you were saying about, in terms of the acceptance thing, it's
Yes.
even something that very pleasantly surprised with, because again, like my intention in terms of, you know, seeing if anyone out there would follow it was intentionally around the gay community, because that's what I guess assumed might be the audience of interest. But instead, I was just overwhelmed with, I mean, we have over 4,000 followers, and it's people obviously from all walks of life who just don't care about the fact that this couple happens to be same sex. And, you know, and even, you know, sometimes, you know, when we think about representation of same-sex couples in the media, you know, there certainly has been an evolution of that where, you know, same-sex couples have, or actually, you know, gay gay people have been kind of a stereotype, have been the butt of a joke, have been, you know, just dealing with trauma, or that they aren't in meaningful relationships.
Right.
So, you know, this certainly dispels those things. And also, too, part of the evolution when we think about, you know, LGBT representation in media is like we're okay about, you know, gay people as long as we don't have any an awareness of they're actually sexual beings, you know, and you know, not that, you know, that's happening in this series, but just the fact of, you know, showing the couple in bed, you know, sharing a bed, you know, having them kiss, having them go on a date, so that they are part of a romantic and sexual relationship. And again, it's just nothing but support. So it's been just another element, another level of the, you know, fantastic support and response that was very unexpected.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think like what Tammy was saying was that I think that it is important to see all aspects of that, because a lot of times, you know, people have the conception of, oh, that it is just sexual, right? Or that it is only you guys just, you know, that this is what they do, you know, this, you hear all of these things that people say, but to see that kind of life where all arcs are there, I think that's what's so really important about what you do, is because you show all different aspects of your life, which, as Tammy said, is just all different aspects of everybody's life.
So we're regular people, maybe just a little more fabulous. That's all.
You know,
just a little bit more fabulous. I saw your blue dishwasher.
Just a little more fabulous.
Just a little bit more fabulous.
That blue dishwasher, man. I was like, oh yeah, I could take that blue dishwasher. I love that one too. You know, the dishwasher goes out and it's like, oh, we got to get a new dishwasher. And you know, he opens the box and it's like, oh, you know, this beautiful blue dishwasher.
Well, and that was just the scratch coating peel off.
Oh, is that what it was? That's why. Okay, that's why the pile of blue at the end. But I was like, oh man, I'm loving this blue dishwasher. I need to get a new dishwasher. And I'm looking at the blue dishwasher. Do I need to get that?
Another example of just, you know, just an everyday life. It's like, yeah, the dishwasher breaks, and you know, and my, you know, this, you know, and this character representing me is more the drama queen, you know, which is not far from the truth. You know, was, you know, oh my goodness, I can't, you know, be without the dishwasher.
Right, have to do a dish. What?
Devastated, right? You know, I think with the stories and just the relatability of it, I think is what, you know, you know, from the comments, what I think people have really, you know, connected to is that it is everyday life, and again, so many times with storylines, people, you know, said, oh yeah, that happened to us, or, you know, oh, you know, oh, for example, you know, I think one of them recently where, you know, the drama one, you know, was upset not talking to the other one, and he's saying, well, like, what's going on? Like, what, did I do something wrong? And then he's like, well, you know, last night in my dream, you were like, okay, hold on, wait a minute, you know. And the amount of people that are coming like, totally me, I do that. Like, yeah.
That is so funny.
That's me and my husband. It's like, what did I do in your dream last night?
Yeah, so the feedback definitely, you know, has helped as well. And you know, even thinking about, you know, some of the storylines, you know, just, you know, trying to stretch myself a little bit with making it a little more interesting is, you know, adding a panel that actually is live video. So there are a few where, and the one that got the, you know, probably like the most interactions was around the kite. So, you know, and of course, you know, people even see the punchline coming. They know that, okay, it's, oh, you know, we bought you a kite. You know, and of course, it was a Barbie kite. And I want to fly the kite. Well, no, it's too rain. It's too windy today. Oh, I want to fly the kite. Okay, we'll try. You know what's coming, right? But of course, just, you know, when, you know, the drama queen is holding onto the kite, and it's great, and the wind takes him away. And so this is where, for the most part, my husband has just been like, okay, oh, you're doing your photo shoot with your dolls again? Okay, all right. You need me to do something? Okay, it's like, yeah. Okay, so
that's sweet.
I've got a little bit invisible fishing line on this kite, and then I need you to hold this pole, and then when I say go, I need you to pull it up. So I do have to give him credit for many behind the scenes technical.
That's sweet.
That
I
is
love
so
that.
cool, though. That is so cool. But yeah, he sees you enjoying yourself and having fun and really engaging. And plus, he knows, I think, he knows the feedback that you get now from the shows. So, I mean, from the series. So it just helps that, you want to kind of keep that, keep that moving, keep sharing that with more people. So that's cool.
Yeah. And it's
I
been
love it.
with it. I mean, I've posted them on my Facebook as well as my Instagram for friends who aren't on Instagram, and it's interesting. Even just there'll be times where people say, oh, I didn't know Doug did this or Doug did that, and he'll like, remember, they're just loosely based on. So he'll add the comments, especially if if the storyline disparages him in some way. So, but but again, for the most part, a lot of it is based on our personalities, and it's been interesting how several friends, again, who view them on Facebook, will make comments like, oh my God, laughing so loud, and I completely read that in both of your voices because I hear you talking like that all the time.
That is so funny. That is great. I love that. That's so cute.
I do too.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's happening is, and we talked about this before we set the details in place about the interview. This was your pandemic project, and now you're going back to normal life, whatever that means.
Regular life, yeah.
Yeah, and so you're not going to be doing it daily, but you are going to be updating it
once in a while.
Yeah, I like that. You said you were ending it, but then you came back pretty soon with this, your most recent update. It's like, okay, you're gonna still be here with us. You're gonna still be making us laugh, and that's great.
Yeah, because again, like it's just. I tell you, the comments, when I did the post about ending the series with the regular posts, I mean, the comments were overwhelming, really. It was just hundreds and hundreds of comments, and just really just elevated the folks saying about how it just brought smiles to them, particularly during this time. But what was interesting too is coupled with that is that just again, people just being so kind with their comments is that while they were almost kind of grieving their loss, in the same sentence they were saying, but we completely understand that this takes a lot of time and that you want to get back to your fun and your travels and stuff. So I just thought, oh my goodness, again, just how sweet and how thoughtful of folks. And certainly, I mean, I did know that it was more of a pandemic project, just having more time on my hands, especially during the cold Canadian winters when it's like, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not going outside. But with the pandemic, with our restrictions easing and with the warm weather, it's I want to try to minimize time on a computer because I do that all day for work, and so did think for myself I was going to have the regular posts end, but I just kind of committed to myself to bring it to the full year. So I started on May 18th, kind of with the first post being them finding out the pandemic. So I ended off with them. It was actually a friend who provided the story suggestion around the story should end with them getting their shots and their vaccinations. And so what's interesting about that is that in Canada, because we had in terms of our vaccine supply, we had a later start with our vaccination supply. So actually, we have prioritized first doses only, and we've actually stretched out the period of time for second doses. So we understand that when you get your first dose, you're going to wait a little bit longer for that second dose, as opposed to the normal 28-day cycle. And so, but to finish off the series, I had the dolls get their second dose, right? the amount of friends from our circle who are messaging us, how did you guys get your second dose already? We're like, okay,
We know people.
remember,
It's
it's
loosely.
loosely based. Just like, really? And we had some friends who were kind of angry with us, like, how did you make that happen? It's like, oh my gosh,
That's awesome.
the doll. Yeah. So anyway, so
Oh
yes, and
gosh, that is
absolutely, so
hilarious.
to and certainly committed to, and because of the feedback, certainly I'm quite happy to every so often when an idea comes to mind or an occasion to bring the boys back. And certainly, I mean, the prime opportunity was yesterday with the beginning of Pride Month. It just made
Yes.
sense. So yeah,
Yes.
it's again, there's some really nice messages from folks that, oh my gosh, the boys are back.
Oh, that is so
Yeah.
sweet. I mean, I'm just grinning from ear to ear because I just think
Yeah.
that it's just so great, how it was received, and so great, how it's really helping people, and it's and the fact that they really feel invested now in this, I love that though. They're like, how they got mad at you because the dolls got the shots. That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. They are dolls. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yes, the level of investment can be. I was like, no, folks. Okay, it is fiction. Okay.
But it's so funny because I think, like you said, you really weren't in the doll community before that. So that really is how it is, though. People are very invested in their dolls and very invested in dolls that they collect or people that they follow. So yeah, you'd be surprised.
But even to your points, because I was focusing on friends because I thought it was related to our storyline. But this idea of some folks in the doll community being so invested in it, it was interesting how there was a bit of a series of storylines again around sort of couples arguing, things like that. Where my character was not being the nicest, and some people were not happy about that. Like I was getting some lift back on people. It's like, well, he shouldn't do this, and he's like, oh my god, people, it's fiction.
It's a doll.
So it's like, I'm glad the storylines are connecting with you, but
yeah, but and the thing is, maybe for you, it's like, oh, I mean, this is like the first of its kind or something like that. But there are plenty of people in the doll. I mean, they're like soap operas.
Yeah,
in the
I've seen
doll
it.
world. Yeah, so it's
it's like a telenovela, right?
Yes, it's true. It is so true. It is true, and they will be invested in it. Trust me.
Exactly.
And
it really did make me think. Some of the storylines that I had projected. I'm like, oh, maybe that's going to be a bit too intense. Some people, maybe I'll just pull a behavior
pull back a little bit.
I don't want hate mail.
Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah. It's supposed to be fun and light and good,
Right.
So,
that was the intention of it. And again, especially during the pandemic, is we just we just have all had so much on our plates, and certainly others far more than some. And it's that little levity in life, bringing that little smile. So is such brighter days are ahead, and so so I also don't feel like I'm bearing as much responsibility to bring smiles to folks now. It's like, okay, the pandemic's almost over. Okay, you can go out and have some fun.
Because I'm sure that probably does too, like not wait on you, but it makes you feel like you have to produce something. It's and so it's kind of like tapering off a little bit, the pandemic. It now gives you a opportunity to have some freedom too, even from the comic strip, because it is something that you have to do something that you promise to do every day. It's still work at the end of the day. It's still something that you do.
And I didn't want it to be a chore, right? So that's where when I had lots of time and I wasn't going anywhere, so when I had the time, because really to produce them. I mean, it really, I mean, to say it's a hobby, it was a very time-consuming hobby. It's almost like a part-time job, because really I committed to having the daily stories, but then I moved to every other day at least to kind of make it a little easier. but it was like, I'm a very organized person. I mean, I have a spreadsheet with all of my ideas, and then take the ideas and then do Saturdays to do
Like a
this
storyboard.
shoot,
Mhm.
and then they have it, and they script them, and then
Oh,
do the photos, and then I do all of the speech bubbles, and then I keep track of it on the spreadsheet of all the days, and it's keeping on top of that. It's like, oh crap,
yes.
okay, usually I'd be like at least 2 weeks ahead all the time with the production, but
Mm.
times where it's like, oh crap, oh my gosh, okay, I'm only 2 days away. I need to get this done. It's like, wow, I have enough stress in my life.
I totally understand that. I
Yeah.
do editing for the podcast, so trust
Yeah.
me. There's days when I'm like, oh, I'm so far ahead, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, wait a minute, wait, that show has to go off when? Okay, wait, let me just get that done. So yeah, I can understand that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hobbies shouldn't cause you stress, right?
Right, right. Yeah, it
That is
shouldn't be.
true.
It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. But yeah,
Yeah.
you might be a little bit past a hobby, but it's okay. I'm just gonna share that with your age.
Yeah.
Well, I just wouldn't want it to cut into my main hobby, which is drinking. So,
You know, okay.
Well, you have to get your priorities together.
right.
This is it's been really cool. And one of the other things is, just like you had a lot of people reach out to you, you got some media attention. You didn't get Ellen, but you've got some media attention. And
Yeah, a little bit of coverage, but not quite
yeah.
Ellen. So, if y'all want to help tap on Ellen's shoulder before she ends her show, this is the last year.
Ellen.
Everyone write Ellen, everyone tag Ellen and say that she needs to have the TheKenCouple on.
Hey, that's a possibility.
Exactly.
If the
we never
4,000
know.
followers did that, I think that we'd see some action.
Yeah,
because you've
I
got,
think
it's
you
like,
would.
it's 4,600. I mean, you've got a lot of followers for a year. And
just over 4,000.
Just over
Wow,
4,000. Okay.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
It is.
I love it.
But you had great content. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's an important piece, right? Is that,
Mhm.
because certainly I was not much of an Instagram person to start with. So I was, kind of even curious about, so how does this Instagram work, and what,
Mhm.
how do you, build followers? And, certainly with my little research, it's clear. I mean, you have to have content that people actually want to
Yes.
see, right? It's like number one. Yeah.
Yes, that's the top thing.
Yeah. So absolutely. I think that made the difference.
Yes. Yeah. It's very, very nice. Is there, something else that you want to share with your followers?
Well, I mean, really, really the one message that I did, want to convey is really my thanks. I don't know. I mean, and that sort of, final post that I made, by no means it would have come across. And this is a wonderful opportunity. Just appreciation, for folks, from folks with the comments. They were just, so encouraging, and kindness that people showed. I mean, it's just, it's really, I mean, it's very heartwarming. It's very uplifting. So, to think and to hear from folks that, the post, the series provided them with smiles and provided them with a little boost. The feedback from the followers did the exact thing for me. So, and again, and I love attention. So, that too. No, but really, in seriousness, I just, that's one thing I was, really hopeful to, today have an opportunity to convey, is just really how wonderful it was, just, with each post, the laughs, the likes, and even just, for folks to take time and to actually, write comments, some, quite lengthy. And then as well, just to have it, elevated that much more with the degree of comments on the final the final. It's kind of like, it's kind of like Cher's final tour. We know, right?
It never ends, right?
But yeah, no, the elevated level of comments and kindness was just absolutely quite something. It was actually kind of overwhelming. So
That's great.
I really do want to extend my appreciation to folks.
Did you receive any, like, homophobic or negative things?
Not at all, Tammy, and
That's
it's
amazing.
so wonderful,
Yes.
because that's a danger, You know,
Yeah, because
it's
when
an
you put you,
absolute danger. When you
yeah,
put yourself out there,
yeah,
right?
whenever you put yourself out there, you never know who's going to respond.
Yeah, no,
That's I'm so happy.
yeah, no,
I'm
it's
so
really,
happy.
actually, I'm glad you brought that up as a question, because it's an incredibly positive thing,
Hmm.
just to think that that has just never happened once. So, because, you know, I mean, the account is open, people can follow it, and you could start get the trolls and the trash talk, and just nothing. So, um,
Oh, that's
just
lovely.
just wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy for you. And I'm so happy for us to have, for those of us who have been following and just getting the great news
Yeah.
and laughing with you, and it's been good. And I'm also happy that things are getting back to normal and you can go back to your normal life
Well,
and
okay,
your
we just
family.
it's funny. So today, and you know, live in Ontario,
Mhm.
Canada, and you know, the way that you know, we have responded to the pandemic is a little different than the States, and
Mhm.
we've you know, shut down things far more, and particularly
Hmm.
in Ontario, where I live. So actually, we have been in a harsh lockdown since mid-April.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So we've actually been, it's the terminology is actually a stay-at-home order. So we've been ordered to stay at home, and so actually today was the first day that that's been lifted.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Still very little is open. It's actually
Yes.
not till June 14th that we'll have some things start to open. Kids have not been in school since the middle of April, and we just got an announcement today that they will not be returning to school for the rest of the school year. So
Hmm.
Wow.
yeah,
Wait, the
so
rest of the school, you mean like in August?
so our school year is September to the end of June. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
they're not returning. So yeah, so it's just slowly that yeah. So June 14th will start to, like, just as of 2 weeks ago, we were actually allowed to have 3 people in our yard. That's it. Like that.
Wow.
Like that's it. So that was, so we actually were excited to have the grandchild over for the first time, and yeah. So
Oh,
Nice. Very nice.
yes.
yeah, so it's yeah, it's really exciting for my husband and I to you know, feel so much more you know, positive about getting back to, you know, our more fulfilled life. We are very fortunate in our lives to be able to have a, you know, huge circle of friends, you know, and we are fortunate to be able to travel. So
Mhm.
Right.
we do have some booked for August, and we are hopeful that the borders will open up so
Yes.
that we can do it. Uh,
Right.
Yes.
so we are absolutely looking forward to, you know, resuming our regular fun and crazy and fabulous life. So you know, so that's why we, you know, we'll see the Ken couple a little less, because the real couple needs to be.
Yes. Yes.
You have to make sure to take some pictures while you're traveling. You have to share some pictures of the Ken dolls while you're traveling.
Yeah, and there's been many people who have said that for sure.
So the Ken dolls at the Eiffel Tower.
And it's funny because so one of the series, so last summer, and we were in another kind of restricted zone, but we did have a trip to Niagara Falls, so it's about
Mm.
Mm,
two
okay.
hours from where we live, and I brought the Ken dolls. My husband was not happy. Because here I am, I had them in my man bag, and I was like taking them out every so often. It's like, okay, here they are looking at the falls. Okay, I'll put them away. Okay, here they are looking at this. I'll put them away.
That's
So
funny.
so there, you know,
Here
there
is the
is a,
dog doll looking irritated.
yeah, exactly. So but yeah, it was you know, it was fun, and you know, again, I mean, I like attention, so certainly had a number of people looking at me going, what is that guy doing? So yeah, so I, you know, so
Nice.
we may have a future storyline of them sneaking in some luggage, for example.
Yes, probably.
That'd be
That'd
great.
be
That would be
cute.
great.
Yes.
Yeah. And I am, so happy to see that things are opening up for you too. And my family, one of my children has a heart condition, so we are in like severe lockdown. Not that the U.S. or even our state, we are in severe lockdown. I was talking to Georgette the other day. I went out, and I live in New Mexico. Deb Haaland has been appointed by President Biden to be part of his cabinet. So we had a special election to fill her position. And I went out and I was like kind of hyperventilating. It's like I haven't been out. And I was telling Georgia, I've been out of the house since, you know, in a year, it's been more than a year. I think I've been out of the house and not in the car. I mean, like out of the house, out of the car, off of my property, like maybe half a dozen times.
I'm the same. It's just
Yeah.
basically, you know, it's just, you know, the shopping at the liquor store. That's it, you know.
Yeah, my husband does, we were told to choose one person. And so my husband is our person who goes out of the house. So it was really something to be out and we voted and, you know, to see people and they had their masks on for the most part. And that felt really good because one of the concerns about the way we've had the openings here in America has been, if you have not been vaccinated, you should be wearing your mask. Well, the whole time, there's been a subset of the country who has not been wearing their mask. So why do you think they're going to now start wearing their masks?
So, you know, follow the TheKenCouple's example and get vaccinated, right?
Exactly. Get vaccinated.
Maybe they should be running an ad campaign, right?
They probably
Yeah,
should.
the TheKenCouple.
Yes.
Be like the TheKenCouple. Get vaccinated.
Exactly. That wouldn't hurt, let me tell you.
Yeah, put your mask on.
Because I did make small masks for them. So there's a couple of photos early in the series where they did go out and they had masks. So because, you know, have to, you know, follow the example.
That's right, you do have to be protected whether you're a doll or not, man.
Exactly.
So that's the deal.
All have to be safe. Well, Aidan, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your wonderful series. It's been great, and I'm excited that you're leaving it up so that, you know, those like our followers who have never seen it can go and check it out.
Yeah.
And so there'll be more people who are blessed by just the fun of your series. It's just, thank you so very much, Aidan.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, and absolutely. I think, you know, again, with the positive feedback, you know, certainly like a share concert, the final tour, you know, it will not be over. But absolutely, you know, in terms of leaving the posts up, because there may be folks who do come across it and can enjoy looking back at the story as well and get those smiles. And then as well, maybe, you know, look forward to those new posts, albeit less frequent.
Yes, great.
And again, tell us where people can find your show.
So it's just at TheKenCouple. So it's Ken and Couple, but it's all one word.
Okay. It's TheKenCouple and it's on Instagram.
Right.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Aidan.
Thank you so much, Aidan, for being with us on In the Doll World. We really appreciate it. We really love your comic strip. It's wonderful. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.